Now, you might think a lengthy jail term would reduce your chances of finding the perfect woman, but that's not the case for some of Australia's best-known criminals.
Journalist Rochelle Jackson has written a book exploring the motivations, psychology and relationships of the wives and partners of 8 notorious men. And she joins us now in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just tell us about some of the women that you spoke to and why they wanted to be involved in this project.
Well, look, Corinna, when I first of all started writing this book, I thought I'd know everything about these sorts of women. I mean, we've all been fed these sorts of images and stories, haven't we? Women that are attracted to bad boys and notorious men. But as I started writing this book, and it's taken me a very lengthy 2 years to write, I realised all those cliches and stereotypes I'd have to throw out the window. Ostensibly, the women that I've interviewed, and they range from Sylvia Bruno, who was married to Nick Radef, one of Melbourne's underworld drug barons, right through to Georgina Freeman, who was the wife of George Freeman, Marianne Reid, who was the wife of notorious Chopper Reid, right through to someone such as Fran Stratford, who's the carer and wife or girlfriend of Billy the Texan Longley. And let me tell you, they certainly don't all fit into that criteria of being women attracted to bad boys.
Now, going back to Georgina Freeman, a name a lot of Sydney viewers would know, George Freeman, one of the best-known colourful characters in Sydney up until his death. She came from a very privileged background. I was reading about in your book her exclusive private school education, the fact that her father was a doctor, the fact that her parents were distinctly unhappy that she linked up with George Freeman.
Very much. And Georgina really would probably be the only woman of the 8 that I've interviewed and done for this book that would actually fit that stereotype. She agrees and concedes, look, I am attracted to bad boys. And in actual fact, when she first of all met George Freeman, who's arguably, as you said, one of Australia's largest punters, and he ran illegal casino dens and gambling casinos, and that's what he said. You know, he virtually always said, look, as far as I'm concerned, she said, I was attracted to his intelligence and I liked all that infamy behind him. But then you've got someone such as Marianne Reid, who of course was married to Chopper Reid, and her story is very different. What you don't realise is that those two people basically were born up as Seventh-day Adventists.
They were indeed, and Marianne Reid actually sought Chopper Reid out. She pursued him. She wrote letters to him in jail.
She did, and almost became a quasi-legal expert to get him out of jail. But she said, look, if you lined up all these men that I found attractive, I would have chosen Chopper Reid. But that's, I suppose, look, once you start to delve into these people's stories, these women's stories, you realise that that old cliche of them being a gangster's mole or being attracted to bad men certainly doesn't fit. Their stories are complex and they're quite fascinating, and there's a range of different motivations and reasons as to why they've hooked up with these men.
And why did they want to have their stories told?
Well, that's a good question, Corinna. Most of these women said to me, look, we're always defined by the media. If you've got a very strong, notorious male partner, they define you. I'm always the partner of or the wife of. I wanted to have a voice. That's what they all said. They wanted to have an identity and they wanted to have a voice. And unless you've got a strong personality, you virtually don't have one if you're linked or married or a partner of a notorious man.
Rochelle Jackson, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Corinna. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.